Today we are going to talk about Kolechi and the guardian of the Baobab. In a remote corner of West Africa, where the sun cast its warm embrace over rolling hills and the rivers flowed with a song, lay the village of Ndiogbu. It was a place where the laughter of children mingled with the hum of life, where the elders spoke in proverbs, and where the earth and the sky seemed to whisper secrets to those who listened. In this village, nestled between the ancient baobab trees that stood like sentinels, lived a young girl named Kolechi. Kolechi was a curious soul, her eyes always searching for meaning in the world around her. She was known for her quiet demeanor, often found sitting by the river, her thoughts as deep and flowing as the water itself. Her father, Obina, was a respected elder, and her mother, Ngozi, was known for her wisdom in herbal remedies. Yet, despite her lineage, Kolechi felt like she was always in the background, her voice unheard amidst the vibrant life of Ndiogbu. One fateful evening, as the sky blazed with the colors of the setting sun, a stranger appeared at the edge of the village. Her arrival was unexpected, and her presence stirred a mixture of curiosity and caution among the villagers. She was tall, her skin the color of the rich earth, and her eyes held a depth that seemed to pierce through the veil of time. Draped in a cloak of woven patterns, she introduced herself as Ijeoma, a traveler from a distant land. Her voice was soft yet commanding, like the whisper of the wind through the trees. The village elders, including Kolechi's father, gathered to welcome her. Hospitality was a sacred duty, and Ijeoma was given a place to rest, a meal to nourish her, and the warmth of the community's embrace. That night, after the villagers had eaten and the fires burned low, Ijeoma offered to share stories from her travels. The people of Ndiogbu loved stories, for they were the threads that wove the fabric of their lives, connecting the past to the present, the known to the unknown. As the villagers gathered around the fire, Ijeoma began her tale. Her voice was like the rhythm of a drum, drawing the listeners into the world she described, a world of distant lands, of mountains that touched the sky, and of rivers that sparkled like diamonds. Kolechi sat quietly, entranced by the vivid images painted by Ijeoma's words. But as the night deepened, Ijeoma's tone shifted, becoming softer, almost secretive. She leaned toward Kolechi, her gaze intense. "Kolechi," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I see something in you, something that sets you apart from the others. There is a power within you, waiting to be awakened. A power that can make you the most revered person in all of Ndiogbu." Kolechi's heart skipped a beat. The idea of power, of being noticed, of having the respect and admiration she had longed for, was intoxicating. "What must I do?" she asked, her voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and fear. Ijeoma smiled, a mysterious glint in her eyes. "The path to this power is simple, yet it requires great courage. All you must do is speak one untruth, just one small lie, and the power will be yours." Kolechi's mind raced. The lie. It seemed such a small thing, so insignificant. Yet, she had been raised with the understanding that truth was sacred, that honesty was the foundation upon which their lives were built. The elders always said, the truth is like the roots of the baobab tree, deep and unshakable. Could she betray that truth, even for something as tempting as power? That night, sleep eluded Kolechi. She lay under the thatched roof of her family's hut, listening to the sounds of the night, the chirping of crickets, the distant hoot of an owl, and the rustling of leaves in the wind. Her thoughts were a storm, churning with the possibilities and the consequences of Ijeoma's offer. She imagined herself revered, respected, her name spoken with awe. But alongside these thoughts was a nagging feeling, a voice deep within her that whispered of the dangers of straying from the path of truth. Morning came with the first light of dawn, and Kolechi, her mind still unsettled, decided to seek counsel from her mother. She found Ngozi in the garden, tending to the herbs that would one day heal the sick and soothe the weary. Kolechi approached her cautiously, unsure of how to begin. "Mother," she started, her voice hesitant, "what would you do if you were offered something you've always wanted, but the price was to speak a lie. Ngozi paused in her walk, her hands gently brushing the leaves of a medicinal plant. She looked at Kolechi with eyes that had seen much, eyes that held the wisdom of many seasons. "My daughter," she said, her voice calm and steady, "a lie, no matter how small, is like a seed planted in fertile ground. It may seem insignificant at first, but with time, it grows roots, deep and strong, until it becomes a tree that bears fruit, bitter fruit that you cannot ignore." Kolechi felt a chill run down her spine. Her mother's words echoed the teachings she had heard all her life, yet now they carried a weight she had never fully understood. The power Ijeoma offered was enticing, but was it worth the price of her soul? Could she live with herself knowing that she had betrayed the very principles that defined her? That day, as the sun reached its zenith, Kolechi made her decision. She would face Ijeoma and reject the offer, no matter how alluring it was. The truth, she realized, was not just a moral guideline, it was the essence of who she was, the foundation of her identity. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the village, Kolechi found Ijeoma by the great Baobab tree, the guardian of Ndiogbu. The tree stood tall and ancient, its branches reaching out like arms, embracing the sky. Ijeoma looked at Kolechi with an expression of curiosity, as if she already knew what Kolechi had come to say. "Have you made your decision, Kolechi?" Ijeoma asked, her voice smooth as silk. Kolechi took a deep breath, her heart steady. "I have," she replied, her voice strong. "I choose truth. I cannot accept power that comes from deceit. The truth is who I am, and I will not betray it for anything." For a moment, there was silence. Then, something unexpected happened. Ijeoma's face softened, and she began to smile, not a smile of mockery or disappointment, but a smile of genuine warmth. "You have chosen wisely, Kolechi," she said. "The offer I made was not for power, but a test of your spirit. Had you accepted the lie, you would have brought darkness upon yourself and this village. But by choosing truth, you have shown that your heart is pure and your spirit strong." Kolechi felt a wave of relief and pride wash over her. She had passed the test, not just for herself but for her entire village. The truth had guided her, as it always had, and now it had saved her. Ijeoma then revealed her true identity. She was not merely a traveler but a guardian spirit, sent by the ancestors to test the people of Ndiogbu. Those who succumbed to the temptation of lies would have brought misfortune upon themselves and their loved ones. But Kolechi's choice had protected them all, ensuring that the village would continue to thrive in peace and prosperity. The villagers, who had gathered around the Baobab tree, erupted in joy and gratitude. Kolechi was no longer the quiet, overlooked girl she had once been. She was now celebrated for her wisdom, integrity, and courage. Her name was spoken with reverence, and her story became a legend passed down through the generations as a reminder of the power of truth. In the years that followed, Kolechi grew into a woman of great wisdom, respected by all. She often sat by the Baobab tree, sharing the story of her encounter with Ijeoma, teaching the children of Ndiogbu the importance of honesty and the strength that comes from staying true to oneself. And so, the village of Ndiogbu continued to thrive, its people living by the values of honesty, integrity, and wisdom, just as Kolechi had demonstrated. The great Baobab tree stood as a symbol of the enduring power of truth, its roots deep and unshakable, much like the spirit of Kolechi and her people.